This is Oldecam.
And this is not a spring chicken. You think this outfit is kind of funny. Well, you know, part of it is my rock star hat right out there. But part of this is, you know what it reminds me of? Remember those puppeteers, the marionettes?
Marionettes.
Right? And they're sitting there, their arms are being controlled and their legs are being controlled. And while we're bringing this up is, who's the puppeteer?
Right, but we're trying to figure out who is pulling Barack Obama's strings.
We're not talking about bikini strings. He's not wearing bikinis.
No. Although
you'd probably like to see this one pull.
Yeah, they'd be very happy with this one.
But we want to know who's behind Barack Obama, because before we used to think it was Reid and Pelosi.
Yeah, but Reid and Pelosi have basically got problems in their own fiefdoms.
That's right. And then we thought it was the Clintons, because Obama has pretty much a Clinton staff.
Yeah, but we figured out the reason he has pretty much a Clinton staff is because they've already done the vetting process and they don't have any problem getting through Congress.
Oh, that's right, because they had already been vetted when they were in the Clinton staff.
And they already know what crimes they've committed. So there's nothing that the Clintons' former staffers have done that people don't know about. So.
And you know what? You didn't hear about them not paying their taxes.
I know, because these are pros. They know what you got to do to get through the thing. So, instant they thought they were going to be in trouble, they probably paid everything so they couldn't say anything.
So why do you think Obama's strings are being pulled? Why do you think somebody else is behind it?
Because, okay, Mr. Obama does nothing that isn't written for him, for instance.
Oh, that's true. And see, part of it is we thought before it was Pelosi, because Obama would come out with a statement, Pelosi would say something, and then Obama would change closer to what Pelosi was saying.
But Pelosi is having problems maintaining strength in his House. Harry Reid can't maintain. They're having to do reconciliation in the Senate now in order to get Obama to take through, because Reid can no longer control the moderates in his Senate either. So we try to figure out who is it that is actually giving Barack Obama his walking orders. Because
part of it is we knew before that Barack Obama
he was going to do it. He was going to do liberal stuff. We knew that.
Well, we knew that because by nature, by what he voted on before, he had a liberal agenda.
And you know, but people don't understand that history always repeats itself. If, like I said, if he did everything liberal, had no history of bipartisanship, then you knew he was going to do everything liberal with no bipartisanship.
That shouldn't be a surprise to you.
I know, but those people that are surprised, I mean, like the right-wing commentators, you know, that we thought he was going to be more pragmatic. No, he's just being what he was.
Well, you know, and part of it is, if you look at his background, he came from Chicago.
Yeah.
So if he served in Chicago, so some of the issues that would be more important to him would be city issues, if you want to call it, or suburbia issues, right? Which is what he's more familiar with.
Yeah. He has no comprehension on how to run anything large. He shows the fact in public statements that he doesn't know how to run it, but somebody is running it. It's not him, and it's not. He has no staff. Basically, staff has no staff.
Staff has no staff, especially bring up Geithner, for example, who's still having trouble filling the positions.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, for instance, if it was, say, the right always blames out Soros for this and that. Soros doesn't have the revenue he used to have, because everything that is being done now is damaging his revenue.
Oh, you know what? You're absolutely
Basically,
right.
this would lose him everything he had in the world. He's already suffered massively in the real estate market. He's lost massively in shipping. He is tanking financially. He's not worth anywhere near what he was. So you're not going to pull the strings on something that's going to cost you everything you got.
Well, and part of it is, you know, it's not somebody like Warren Buffett, because Warren Buffett's losing out. Because you would have thought with a supporter
Warren Buffett has now been downgraded to basically a no-buy. The Gates have lost like $20 billion.
I know, because if they were doing it, they wouldn't do things that would cost them all that money.
I know.
And before we thought it was the Clintons, but there's one thing we know about the Clintons is,
they're in it for the money.
Yeah, and although they look for their self-interest, they are part.
Well, because what is best for the country is best for their self-interest.
But Obama's doing things with the socialism, the health care.
Everything is basically nationalization of businesses. Basically, he's following all of the historical traits of a person that's getting ready to form a dictatorship. He rallies everybody against the businesses in the country, which almost always typically are Jewish in every country they rally against.
Right.
he basically is showing that he's not, that he is pro-Muslim and not pro-Jewish. So
and part of it though was that he was saying, didn't he say he was not Muslim before?
that's right.
Right, and that the Muslims, as well as everybody else in the world, thought they could deal with him.
That's right. And
But
basically, okay. Everybody in the world knows they can deal with it because they just do whatever they want. No, but it all starts back to the fact. I mean, most people will agree that Mr. Obama is a very smart person. And yet, he did something very dumb on Inauguration Day, which was deliberately mispronounce everything so he wouldn't be legally sworn in on the Bible.
so then they did it later, and he got sworn in not on the Bible.
Not on the Bible.
Which, if you're a Christian,
basically,
you really want to be sworn.
But if you're not a Christian, he didn't violate his speech. I mean, it's just simply, you only have his word for anything, and his word basically at the moment is very.
Well, actually, you should follow his actions more than his words.
Yeah, no, because you have to see what he says versus what he does. And I mean, okay, right now they know that he does nothing but lie. Before, he would tell people the truth. If you just have to interpret it.
Well, you know, part of it is that's what we had said, that he's not lying. It was interpretation.
People believe what they wanted to, but now he's outright lying.
I know.
He basically, most of the people, even the people on the left, will say that he's over his head. Totally in what he's doing.
And that's not the right, that's the left.
That's the right that is saying. The left is saying that he's over his head. They're all blaming it on the fact that he doesn't have enough people out of his main cabinet. But that's not how it's supposed to be.
Not how.
He does have 2 houses of Congress he controls. With people, good people, okay, Republicans are willing to sit down with him and tell him what he's doing wrong. He wouldn't listen to him, but they're willing to sit down and talk.
But you know, part of it is, I think whoever is the puppet master is not from this country.
And they're not doing it for money.
They're doing it to overthrow the U.S. government, to create a dictatorship, to bring socialism.
Yeah.
Based on what I'm seeing.
I mean, Soros is all for socialism, but he doesn't have the resources to do it
like
anymore.
he used to have.
And but he's for a socialist system in which that the people at the top make lots of money. But this is a socialist system where the people at the top are basically destroyed.
Which is really kind of unusual because usually it doesn't work.
Socialism doesn't work because, as Karl Marx and the others did find out, and Lenin, all of them find out that you have to have a hierarchy in order to make everything work. Somebody has to be up here.
But they're destroying the top.
But they just, what is going on?
Oh, excuse me, the greedy elite.
The greedy elite is what they are. But when you destroy the greedy elite and you don't replace them with a new elite, and there is no, under this structure that we've been talking about, there is no new elite structure. There's only the government.
Right, and usually, as far as the military, they bring in the military.
Yeah, and this time they're basically destroying it.
They're destroying the military. So it kind of makes you wonder who's behind it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to figure whoever is pulling Mr. Barack Obama's strings is not an American.
That's right.
He's not after money.
Yes.
And they already have tremendous power wherever they're at.
Yeah.
And they don't care the fact that they do not care about actually anything other than power. That's what it
yeah, that's true, because they're not concerned about the businesses and making money.
No, they're not concerned. They're not worried about the destruction of the world markets. This doesn't bother them. So it has nothing to do with making money.
They're probably insulated.
Yeah, they don't. They shut themselves off from the rest of the world.
Do you think the Russians are behind it?
No, Russians basically. Okay, you notice that while they're nationalizing things, they're still keeping they're still keeping party billionaires in place.
Oh, okay.
And basically, under this system that we're doing, anybody at the moment over $250,000 is going to be considered somebody that the state should attack.
So they're basically government and then everybody else.
Government and everybody else, which is pure socialism.
Okay.
Pure.
Let's see. And you don't think it's the Russians, Chinese?
No, it's Chinese. Chinese figure they can beat us by simply buying us out.
Yeah, and that's why they're upset about the dollar.
Because the more we screw up the dollar, it makes what they are buying in this country worth less and less, which basically defeats their purposes.
Okay, so the Europeans don't have a strong enough economy.
No.
So